Hi guys, welcome to Generation Mingle, to our podcast. I'm your host. My name is B. I do have a guest today. His name is Matt.
Hello.
Hi.
How's it going?
Very good. Thank you for joining us. Guys, as always, we're exchanging informations between generations from boomers to millennials to Gen Xers and Gen Z. We're just helping each other and, talking about our experience, and hopefully one of the generation as boomers have learned something from the millennials, and Gen X, learned something from the boomers, whichever. So Alpha, just pay attention because this one is important. It's quite important topic that we have. We have actually as a guest Matt that have been serving in the military. So Matt, please, would you be so kind and tell us what branch of military you have been serving?
I was in the Air Force.
And what kind of a role? Because quite frankly,
Sure.
I have no clue. Tell us a little bit about
Yeah, sure.
profession in the military, basically.
Yep, so I joined the Air Force in 2004, right after I graduated high school. And then I started out as a cop in the Air Force. And then I knew when I joined, I wanted to be a canine handler because I heard about it before. And that was my goal initially, and it took a little bit longer than I thought, but eventually I got to that point. I became a canine handler, and then shortly after I got deployed to Afghanistan as a brand new rookie handler, not really knowing much, and hopefully hoping for the best. Luckily, I survived that encounter, and then I came home and I became a trainer. And when you're a trainer, you're in charge of the training program, you're in charge of training the other handlers, fixing issues, making them better, all that kind of stuff. And then I did that for the rest of my career, and then I got out in 2018, so I did 4 years. I was deployed 5 times, Kuwait, Iraq, Afghanistan, UAE, and Oman.
Thank you, Matt. Quite frankly, I have to tell you guys, and as well to you, Matt. The moment you have said, 5 times deployed and Kuwait, and you keep on going, I just got goosebumps on my skin because this is a lot. This is a lot. And I know majority people say to our veterans, thank you for your service. I start to avoid that. I just saying basically thank you so much for putting on the uniform for us. Because I don't feel as is service anymore. This is something extremely tough. And we're hearing so much about veterans and the experience when they deployed, or even not any kind of experience, suddenly strictly that you said immediately from high school.
Yeah.
That's for me as a mom of a boy that is adult right now, but seems really, really dramatic for me as a mother from high school. Basically, from the warm home with the blanket, suddenly you put out there, and you have to do everything what somebody else you never knew before tell you to do. Trust them.
Yeah, you get thrown into it basically, and they're going to mold you how they want you to be disciplined, to listen to orders, to be responsible on your own, to do things without anybody looking, have some integrity. So yeah, for basically anybody, it doesn't matter who it is, it's a huge change, and it's all happening at once. It's getting thrown at you all at once, and you have to adapt to it. So.
That's again, I'm not sure, guys, what you're thinking about that, but I think every mother would agree with me, every other family member or a wife. I simply hope so. So before we begin, Matt, I have several questions, but I know that many veterans, I have people reaching out to me, they have a really struggle post-military after they retired. Different things from divorces with the spouses, from separations of the family, for the shocking suddenly situations of not knowing what to do with yourself when you did have assignments from morning to the evening in the military, and suddenly you dump in to the reality or world that we have, and it's very hard to adjust. But the one letter that I have is actually not on someone in your age or even in my age. It's a boomer or even far deeper, possibly silent generation. It's about a veteran that is 84 years old. So I'm just going to briefly read, and I want your opinion on that.
Okay.
Dear Generation Mingle, I am a caregiver and a friend to a veteran. He was 84 years old when he felt at home and broke his hip. After 2 years, it became clear he wouldn't not return home and would need long-term facility care due to his injuries. Today, he is bedridden and full dependent on care. I'm writing to share how difficult it can be to enroll in VA healthcare when you do not personally know someone inside the systems, for older veterans especially. It often feels like you need connections just to move things forward. I personally completed and submitted all the required paperwork for his enrollment. I organized everything into a folder and delivered it in person to the VA office as instructed. 3 months later, I was informed they never received the paperwork. After everything we did to follow the process correctly, it felt devastating. The lack of accountability and care from the individual who accepted those documents was deeply frustrating and honestly very disrespectful. In the end, we were left feeling defeated and exhausted by the system, and eventually we give up trying to push it further. I'm sharing this not just out of frustration, but as a reality check. The younger generations and future service members, please think carefully before you wear the uniform. And if you do serve, keep copies of everything, document every step, and make sure your family understand the process you may face after service, because the truth is many people assume the government will take care of the veterans automatically, but in reality navigating the systems can feel like you are completely on your own after you leave service. No one will hold your hand. Sincerely, Robin, a caregiver who learned the hard way. What do you have to say to that?
Yeah, definitely. That happens a lot more than people think. That's a contributor to why the suicide rate is so high with veterans, because we try and get care for these conditions that we got in the service, and now our body is a lot different, our mind is a lot different, and we need some care for that. And a lot of times you have to go through a lot of hoops. It's government, so everything is slow, and then hopefully like sometimes it gets forgotten, like this packet, that happens a lot. And for us, sometimes we feel hopeless, and that's why sometimes people consider like suicide and stuff like that, because they don't know any other solution. And from civilian perspective, you guys don't realize how difficult it is to do this, to apply for this, and how long it takes. It takes a long time. Like for me personally, when I got out of the military, I got med boarded, which means that they force you out because you have a condition that you can't serve in the military. So I got med boarded. It took a whole year to where my application went through, and a bunch of people look at it. It gets scrutinized a lot. So the perception that it's easy is completely wrong. It's not easy at all. And so like I went through that year, got 90%, and that's not what I felt I should have gotten. I should have gotten 100. So I had to go through another process of fighting it with a law firm, because I don't even understand it myself.
Wow.
And that's the problem, right?
Wow. But before we continue this question, I wanted to make sure that everybody understand, because I researched that and people do not really understand. Matt mentioned the 90%. And you guys have to, I know you heard before, but it is the service connection. What does mean that your injury that you receive during comeback or serving the military are granted by 90% or the 100% or the 10%. And that include hearing loss, PTSD, and different other diagnoses, right? Is that correct? I just want to make sure, because not everybody knows what's the percentage, right?
Yeah,
we're talking here health issue situation of 100% service connection. That's what you mentioned, right? Okay.
Yeah. So it's basically a culmination of all your conditions, and we joke about it. It's called VA math, but like it's not like, okay, you have 30% for one, you have 30% for another. Okay, you have 60%. That's not how it works. I don't even fully understand the VA math, because I don't know. It's complicated. It's not like a 1 + 1 kind of complication, kind of calculation.
Right.
It's more in depth.
I make some research and I read actually online. First, I wanted to let you know that Matt is absolutely correct, and that scenario with that letter just confirmed for me, because when you're checking, hey, how long it takes to get enrolled in the healthcare with the VA, on average should be 1 week. No, this is not what happened. Yes, there was the incident that the paperwork has been lost, but actually not, because you're gonna miss that, and you're gonna have to move that, and you need this paper, and you need that paper. eventually, in regular system, it's between 3 to 4 months to be just enrolled on non-service connected average veteran. Without that, what Matt actually deserve, the 90% or the 100% that he actually requests, or that the process is a little bit longer, what he said, 1 year, 2 years, some
Yeah.
takes to 3 years, up to 3 years. And don't
Yep.
you reapply, you have to reapply again, to conquer basically the government, right?
Yeah, so for me specifically, so I got the med board initially, and then they're like, okay, we're kicking you out. Here's some money, and then here's your VA rating. So I had 90%. Now, the government health care that I was getting while I was active duty is completely different from the health care that I get as being a veteran. So it's one system. Now I have to go to another system. So I have the condition I got med boarded for is called ulcerative colitis. It's a stomach condition. So basically, my stomach attacks itself, and so you have to be on medicine for that to keep it under control. So I was done with the Air Force, and they weren't going to give me any more medicine. Well, now I have to get enrolled with the VA, so that was a whole nother year. I went a year with no medicine for my stomach, and the way that it works is there's something called community care, right? So basically, at the veteran facility that you're by, if they don't have enough doctors to give you the care, they're going to give you another doctor that they approve of. Okay, so if they're approving of it, you go there. Whatever that doctor's recommended, they're supposed to back it because they've already approved this doctor, right? So my specific problem was I had a GI doctor off base, and every medicine he was putting up, they kept denying. So I was not getting medicine this whole time. So my condition was like, it's called a flare. It's like basically your stomach's all messed up and everything is bad. And so you need the medicine to keep that under control. Well, I didn't have any medicine. So the whole time my stomach is in knots and I'm trying to do this. And like the doctor felt bad for me and he gave me samples from his closet because he couldn't give me actual medicine because the VA kept denying it.
And this is what we're talking about, right? Everybody thinks that is, oh, once you have established the care, then you go to the doctors, you get the referral, you get the medication. No, here's example, right? And again, I'm not counting just hundreds. I'm counting millions of veterans that have a similar situation. And I'm sorry to say, but like everywhere else, there could be location where you're at, which VA, right?
Yeah.
Also could be people if they really precisely look in that situation and backing up, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what's making me saying that backing up? I read also that without having a solid really evidence, right, and keeping all these medical records and keeping all your appointments and be so precise, you will also not move anywhere. You will be denying it all the time. But obviously, you follow step by step, and you didn't receive any medication for such a long time.
Yep.
So now, again, you are young. Now, let's go back to this 84, 79-year-old. And some of them, I'm sure, just like my family members, have dementia and Alzheimer, and they have older spouses. How they can conquer this entire system. So for civilians to say, oh, we have it, everything is done, is not really realistic as they think. Right?
Yeah, it's built to not be easy. I mean, and it kind of has to be, obviously, to weed out the people that really don't deserve the care, but yeah, it's kind of by design. So it's very difficult to even get care. Just like I said, I was a year without this medicine that I really needed, and nothing was happening. I wasn't getting any traction. And yeah, the evidence for whatever conditions you have, they have to be like undeniable. I mean, it has to be diagnosed by the doctor with evidence and correlate to your service and all that. And for me, for example, like when I went to Afghanistan, that was my first combat deployment. So I was actually in combat, and I was under fire, and I was shooting my gun and explosions and seeing people dead and all that kind of stuff. And so initially the military didn't think I had PTSD. Well, I found out that people were, obviously claiming it because now we're getting it, we're in combat. So it's kind of understandable why you would think you would have that. And the doctors were told to like kind of put a buffer on that and not just approve everybody, which once again, I understand. You don't want to approve everybody. There needs to be a process to make sure that this person actually has this condition. But So they were not going to diagnose me with PTSD. Well, I got care off base, and I was in their care for a day, and they're like, "Yeah, you have PTSD, and you have major depressive disorder." And then and that's the good thing about the military is when you go seek care outside, they do honor and respect what that doctor does. So once that happened, that was it. Okay, now I'm finally categorized correctly.
Well, again, I think it's very important to understand something, that if people have not wear the uniform, I believe that they have absolutely no clue that this is not like a bonus or a reward like you have in any other job, some upper management, or you work in Wall Street or anywhere else that you work in, right? This is something that you put service in, or carry the uniform for us, and it's a last causing problems.
Yeah.
It will be forever. So compensation is so valuable for some of you guys that been in military to actually continue to live.
Yeah.
Because with all of that, as your stomach issue or the other severe mental health issue as PTSD, does not allow people really go to work.
Right.
And I just really cannot believe that could be that disregarded by civilians, something like that, because quite frankly, just from all the movies, guys, that we watch, imagine we're sitting here and Matt was exposed to some severe explosions, and we're sitting having conversation, and next door to our studio is a huge explosion. Would I be surprised that he jumped? I would jump. And I have never witnessed live explosion in the military training. So I just trying to really put myself in your shoes, right? And other veterans out there. So I have another question for you, Matt.
Sure.
Like you said, why veterans committing suicide? Do you have a little bit more input on that information?
Yeah, I mean, I could talk just from my experience, but yeah, I mean, when you're dealing with these problems, the worst part is nobody else understands it. Civilians don't understand it. I could talk to my wife all day about it. It's never going to fully click with her because she wasn't exposed to that thing. And it could go for anything. Like, you can get PTSD from a really bad car accident, and then you might never want to drive a car again. So, like, it's not just combat related, but for me specifically, like, yeah, you go through all these crazy events in the military, and your body's wearing down on you. Now I have PTSD, and like the way PTSD works is it's basically like a scar on your brain. So like not actually, but it's just a figure of speech, and so it's something that can't fully heal. So once you have it, you got it, and you can make it better by like understanding what triggers you, understanding what really stresses you out more, and these events that you don't like or you don't tolerate well. For me, I just avoid it all. Like I know what I don't like at this point after being in that kind of situation, and then it's affected my quality of life, because now, before I would go to a concert, no problem. Right. I go to concerts, but like, for me specifically, like I don't like big saturations of people. So I don't like going to Fremont where there's tons of people, right, because the way it works is, when I was over there, you get used to the trauma. So, okay, now I hear an explosion. I don't jump. I don't do anything. I'm used to it. But when you come back, your brain is still in that safety mode of being back over there. So now you're back here, and it's funny, you would think that, okay, if you hear a sound, you're not going to jump, but I do. Like, I was picking up my stepson one day, and the school bell went off, and I actually jumped. So, and it's just funny to me because when I was in Afghanistan, I had an artillery gun going right over my tent.
Right.
Like, so I was exposed to really crazy stuff, but now that I've come back here, it's like my brain can't adjust.
Yeah, that's what I said that earlier, that when guys, suddenly I have read about this, and I received some, letters from people that you serve, you have that schedule, you're doing what you got to do, you're on the mission, and suddenly when everything closed down and you're to the real world, the reality, you just do not fit in, and God forbid you throw in any medical health issue and then mental health issue, it's absolutely a disaster. And I think that people disregard that. People do not really have a moment and think about it, just for the moment, right? Um, I also want to go back to this 100% service connected.
Sure.
Because you said that, and could appear to society that this is the average thing, so just apply and have the solid paper. You can even hire a lawyer or someone, God bless, a good social worker that I have actually known, someone that is phenomenal and know how to do, not working for government, know how to do paperwork, and just voluntarily she helping people to sign up with the VA.
Yeah, that's great.
Wonderful person. But I want to go to the statistic quickly.
Sure.
Just wanted to say how many veterans actually are rated 100% here in the United States. So believe it or not, but it is about between 1.0 to 1.8 million veterans that are rated 100% disabled. Listen, guys, this is a drop in the bucket, okay?
Right.
Because that represents only between 15 to 25%. Absolutely ridiculous.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, you're talking about fractions of a fraction, because the veteran community, the people that actually served, is already so small. We used to say 1% for the longest.
Right.
It's about 1%. Maybe that number's changed a little bit, but yeah, you're not talking about the whole population. You're now talking about this little sliver of people, and then inside of that, that's okay. 100% is only a very small fraction of those people.
So we even didn't touch on other subjects, hence we're talking about the percentage,
Yeah.
how many it is. Guys, you have to absolutely, I think, no idea when you go on the streets and really look on those people that are homeless. Do not always think that they just want a couple of dollars on the corner. I'm not saying that all of them are veterans on the corner that are announcing themselves, but I have noticed how many of the veterans, because of mental situation, because of not knowing how financially deal with money as well, because like yourself, very young from the high school, what do you guys know about financial money, balancing checks and all of that? Majority of you guys don't know. All of what you know, follow the orders and that's it.
Yeah.
Right? So here now you are. Now PTSD now is a little bit more aware of mental health, but previously was alcohol. Let's go smoke some pot, right? And take anything you can just to calm down your situation. What's happened with that check, the little check that you actually have or that receive, it's flashing through 1 week only with alcohol and everything else. Some people taking advantage of those veterans, and they end up where? On the streets.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing about the compensation. So the easiest way I can explain it, and to the way that civilians can understand it, is we get this, whatever compensation we get from the VA, we get it for our conditions. It's like workers' comp. It's not that we can't work. So people think that, okay, you have this, you can't work. No.
And you're not working. You said, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Mark, but majority, you don't have to work. No. Assumption is when nights you get it, you don't work at all.
Right.
That you're lazy immediately, that fact that you're taking advantage of that privilege. And this is not the case. Majority of you still working part-time.
Yeah, for sure. And like, the way we're kind of programmed in the military, it's for a purpose. Everything we do is for a purpose. So then when we get out of the military, it's really hard to adjust, because now our purpose was tied to that. Now it's like, okay, now you're free to do whatever you want. Well, what do I do?
What are you supposed to do?
You know, I've been having so much structure instilled in my life, so many things to do, and then now all that disappears. And yeah, I'm still adjusting, and I've been out since 2018, so.
Well, you brought something else to me. Also, I have a friend that has a family members that is married to military right now, and every time they are out of the house, it's everything okay on the phones and letters, and then he's coming back for a couple of weeks or 6 weeks or whatever, an entire family dynamic has to adjust to all of that because of his service. So, it's not a smooth glide for the families as well.
Yeah, no, I have to really be mindful of how I talk and really temper myself, because there's, with PTSD, for me specifically, like, my temper is shorter than it even was before. I already had a short temper, but now it's worse. And so, like, my tolerance for bull crap is really low now. And sometimes I'll lash out, and it's just my natural reaction. But then, like, I might yell, and it's upsetting my family, it's upsetting my
Right.
kids,
Right.
because they don't understand from my perspective, and they don't understand how my brain works now. So, like, I hate to use that. I never like to use PTSD as an excuse,
Of
but I
course.
mean, it's the truth. Like, my brain is wired differently now. So, like,
Right.
I have to really be mindful to temper myself and be like, okay, it's not that serious. Just stay calm, But
I think you're doing fabulous, because I can see right now that even when you're speaking, you are a little bit elevated, because constantly things come
Yeah.
to your thoughts, right? But I want to say this is also the difference with the generations, that the way I have been brought up and you have been brought up, we're expressing ourselves. The newer generation, the Gen Z, or even the millennials, they are more sensitive, because they're more
Yeah.
aware of the mental health, how you approach and how you're supposed to speak to others, right? They're looking at differently. I think for the boomers and Gen X would be completely acceptable that you're raising your voice in the house, right?
Right.
The life have changed through the generations, but
Yeah, definitely.
yeah. I want to touch on so much more, but we're running out of time, and I think we will revisit again. I just wanted to ask you guys, if you enjoyed the podcast, please give us thumbs up. Bring the comments coming, please. If you have any questions for us about, Veterans Life, I would love to invite Matt again. He has plenty of experience, as you know. Write letters to us. I want to read those letters about the families, from the family, military family members, issues and problems that we can approach as
Sure.
well. And guys, please remember, okay? Keep your music loud, okay? Keep your Wi-Fi strong, and the arguments just enough to keep having the conversation. And guys, keep on Mingle. Thank you so much for coming, Matt.
No problem.
Amazing
Anytime.
yeah, amazing personal information. Love it. I think that will be the longest episode today. Thank you, Matt. Have a good one.
Yeah, thanks for having me.